All right, guys, Darren from FBA Elite, and welcome back to another video. So in this week's video, we're doing something a bit different to what we normally do. I'm going to be writing a letter to Amazon. So I've been selling on Amazon for 5 years, and being Amazon's business partner, well, let's just say Amazon aren't the best partner in the world. So in this video, I want to write a public letter to Amazon explaining some of the most common issues that us sellers face. So if you're considering starting Amazon FBA, this will help shed some light on what it's like being a partner with Amazon. And if you already sell on Amazon, I'm sure you're going to relate to some of these, and I'm going to miss some as well. So make sure you put some of your issues in the comments below. Now, this letter was just going to be a straightforward letter to Amazon, but I decided to put a twist on it. I decided to use Amazon's very own suspension and then plan of action process that they use. But with the twist, instead of Amazon writing their own plan of action, we're going to write it on their behalf. So we can really point out the issues that they've got that they need to work on. So bear with me while we work through this. It should make sense as we head through this Dear Amazon letter from Amazon sellers everywhere. So, Dear Amazon Seller Performance Team, on behalf of Amazon, remember we're writing it for them, we would like to thank you for providing us with the opportunity to appeal Amazon suspension. We would like to note that Amazon understands that working with thousands and thousands of Amazon sellers is a privilege, and we would like to submit a plan of action to help rebuild these relationships. Now, a plan of action is broken down into 3 parts. You have what did you do wrong? What have you done to fix it? And what are you going to do to prevent it from happening again in the future? So what did Amazon do wrong? So I put together a list of things that Amazon have done wrong over the past 5 years. And like I say, this is not an exhaustive list. There are many other things. So if anything I've missed, put them in the comments below. Number 1, they have provided unsuitable and incompetent seller support. And I don't think there's going to be an Amazon seller in the world that disagrees with how poor Amazon seller support is. So this covers a whole wide range of issues, whether that issues with your products, opening an account, getting a random suspension, etc. You see there's so many issues with seller support, and I've put in brackets here with templated replies, inaccurate responses, inconsistent policy enforcement, long delays, etc. There are so many problems with seller support. Amazon are aware of this, yet they still do nothing about it. Number 2, allow branded product listings to be hijacked. And still to this day, I don't understand why they allow this. If you have registered your brand on Amazon and you've got brand registry approval, why are they letting other people make changes to your listing? So another seller sometimes can come in and change your images or change your title or your price and mess up your listing. And also they allow other sellers to jump on your listing and pretend to sell your product or sell a knockoff of your product. I just don't understand why they just can't stop this in the first place. Instead, we have to go to brand registry. We have to either get the sellers kicked off the listing, or we have to go in and repair all the damage that they've done. And sometimes it can take a few days to repair damage to a listing, which can really hit you from both sales and rank perspective. Number 3, they've implemented unfair fee increases, in my opinion. They do an annual increase every year for fulfillment and referral fees. They also implemented the DST, which is the Digital Services Tax in the UK, in what I believe is an unfair way. The Digital Services Tax is a 2% tax on revenue that was designed to catch companies that have revenue above 500 million per year. So what Amazon did was pass that fee directly onto individual sellers. So instead of paying, I think it was a 15% referral fee when you're making a sale, they now charge you 15.3%, as that's a 2% increase on that fee. And more recently, which I covered in the video, they've implemented the dimensional weight. Instead of doing everything just based by dimensions and weight, we now have dimensional weight. So a lot of fees for a lot of products have gone up disproportionately in my mind. Number 4, reselling customer returns, and this still frustrates me. You can choose in your Amazon account settings what you want Amazon to do with your returns. I want all of mine disposed of, but still Amazon refurbish a number of them and send them back out to customers, which inevitably leads to more returns, which makes it harder to get ranked. If you've got a high return rate for your product, it also can lead to more negative reviews. So it's really frustrating that Amazon do not respect their own account settings that we've put in. They ignore product review manipulation. I've covered this in previous videos, whether that's someone's manipulating their own listing to get more reviews, or whether it's a unscrupulous competitors come in and put fake reviews on your listing. And sometimes you'll just get reviews that aren't actually helpful, that are incorrect, and you have no way of getting rid of those reviews, as the guidelines for what Amazon will remove is very, very black and white, and they have no flexibility. Also, treating sellers as disposable entities, they don't really care about sellers, as they have so many sellers signing up, they know they can easily be replaced. And finally, allowing unscrupulous Chinese sellers to dominate the platform. And I think if you've sold on Amazon, you'll be aware of how many iffy Chinese sellers there are on the platform, and how many of the niches are saturated with Chinese sellers. And also, as I covered in a recent video, how many Chinese sellers are evading VAT. They are dodging their VAT responsibility, so they have an unfair advantage over the competition. And Amazon could stop this if they had the correct process in place. So that's the first thing. What did Amazon do wrong? That's just a small selection. There are many, many other things I could have put in this list. So up next, the second part of a plan of action is, what have you done about this? And the answer is nothing yet. So we're going to jump straight on to the third stage of a plan of action, is what will Amazon do to prevent similar issues in the future? And up first, we're going back to the seller support issue. So I want them to provide suitable training to existing seller support so they can fully understand and resolve issues. Quite often when you open a ticket, seller support don't really understand what you're asking. You have to remember they haven't been trained that well, and also English often isn't their native tongue as well. So it can be quite a battle. We want them to provide every seller with access to an account manager to help resolve any issues rather than being passed from team to team. It'd be great to have a central point of contact to resolve those more tricky issues. I also want them to remove targets for seller support so they do not rely on templated responses to reply and close cases quickly. So as much as Amazon don't really care about sellers, they don't really care about seller support either. They're on targets to open and close as many cases as quickly as possible. So that's why we get so many templated responses. If we'd done away with those targets, we'd hopefully get more human responses that actually read the email we sent them in the first place. And also want to implement a clear escalation procedure for unresolved issues. At the moment, you get passed from team to team, and sometimes you can spend weeks or even months waiting for a response to a ticket that you hope is still open somewhere. And then finally, ensure every support team can be contacted by telephone to discuss issues. And I think this is a big thing. At the moment, only frontline support is contactable by the telephone, and then they'll escalate your ticket, but you can't actually speak to those people. I think there are so many things that could be resolved if we could just speak to the teams. If you had an issue with your product and wanted to speak to the catalog team, or maybe your account's been suspended and you want to speak to the accounts team, whatever it is, if you could actually speak to people, it'd get issues resolved so much quicker. And also just create a better partnership between Amazon and Amazon sellers. Next up, allow only the brand owners to edit their own listings. Also implement a quick restore feature to allow users to immediately restore compromised listings. So if you are a brand owner, there is no reason that anyone should be editing your listing or joining your listing to sell that product. And if in the event somehow something does go wrong with your product, it would be great to have a quick restore feature, basically a backup feature. Because at the moment, if something happens to your listing, like I said earlier, it can take a couple of days to get it back up and running where you want it to be. And you have to contact seller support and go through all of the rigmarole of doing that. If we had a quick restore button, it'd be very simple for them to implement, and it would save people a lot of headache and a lot of time. Remove the digital services tax surcharge, as I believe it's unfair. That was designed for Amazon, not for us sellers. And also remove the dimensional weight fees, which I think are basically unfair on many, many sellers that have increased the fees, or at least the fulfillment fee part of the overall fees, to a level that's just not sustainable for many products. And I know many sellers that have stopped selling certain products because of this new dimensional weight. And also limit the annual increases. I'm not saying that they won't have to increase the fees at some point, but just doing it annually because they can, I think, is a bit unfair and a bit unnecessary, especially when we're trying to build a partnership. This is what this letter is all about, really. Respect all account settings, so returns are either refurbished, disposed of, or returned to the seller. Such a simple thing. If you offer it as a setting, just do it. I think back to my very first product, which was a car boot liner. Someone bought a boot liner, their dog was sick on the boot liner, and then they submitted a negative review because it wasn't 100% waterproof to dog vomit. Well, duh. I mean, it had Velcro corners, so it's never going to be 100% waterproof. And then that product was returned to Amazon. Amazon resold it, and then someone else left a negative review saying they received a product with dog vomit on it. So this could have been avoided if they just respected my account settings. We also have implement a clear process for reporting product review manipulation and implement a process to allow sellers to request the removal of dishonest, incorrect, and unhelpful reviews that fall outside of the black and white terms currently used. So if we see other sellers doing review manipulation, I want a clear way to report them. There are ways to do it at the moment. There's no follow-up, there's no comeback at all, so you don't actually know whether anything has been done. And I also want the facility to be able to request product reviews being removed or at least reviewed on your own products. At the moment, you can report the reviews, but only if they are against the current guidelines. Whereas sometimes it's not black and white. I'll give you an example. One of my products, someone left a 1-star review because they used it inside out. Now, I didn't think it was possible to use the product inside out, so maybe you can blame me for not providing clear instructions, but they posted a photo of the product inside out, of them using it, and a 1-star review, and they got voted the most helpful review on the product. So all it would have taken is someone at Amazon to go, look, the customer has clearly misunderstood how to use the product. Okay, yes, I need to put better instructions in next time. But that review isn't helpful to anyone. It just shows we've got a stupid customer. So that is where I want it to be a bit less black and white, and for an actual human to take a look at some of the issues we're raising when we're reporting these reviews. And just on to the last couple, I want Amazon to treat us sellers as business partners. Account suspensions should be the last port of call, not the first. As Amazon sellers, we almost live in fear of getting our account suspended. Amazon are very much take action, ask questions later, or presume you're guilty until you've proved your innocence. So I just want Amazon to treat us as business partners, not as cattle, not as though we're disposable and easily replaced. And finally, fully vet the Chinese sellers to help provide a level playing field for all sellers. That will help increase or improve the quality of products, improve the quality of listings. It will probably lead to an overall higher price point on Amazon, which is going to lead to more profit on the fees for them. And also some of the Chinese sellers, which I've flagged in previous videos, that are basically committing VAT fraud, they could be stopped as well. So if Amazon fully vet those, because the application process to get a UK account is very, very thorough. And I've covered that in a tutorial I did at the start of the year. So how Chinese sellers are getting past this is beyond me. And just finally, to wrap this up, we believe this plan of action sufficiently addresses many of the core issues. However, this is not an exhaustive list, and we understand there are many other issues that Amazon will also endeavor to improve. We look forward to Amazon having their account reinstated. Sincerely, Amazon sellers everywhere. Like I said, that isn't everything. If there is something I've missed, issues you've had with Amazon, drop them in the comments below. Now, if I haven't put you off selling on Amazon, it's still a great opportunity and it was life-changing for me. I'm going to pop up a step-by-step guide now which shows you everything you need to do to make your first £1,000 per month, and I'll see you guys over there.